My fellow Giga Chads and Giga Chadettes, we have been given a mission that will test our strength, our courage, and our will to succeed. We will be establishing an outpost deep within Sigma territory, a beacon of light against the Sigma swine that plague our rim. Every one of you is crucial to the success of this operation. Give everything you have. Any less will mean certain death. Stay together, and you may just make it home, alive. These were the words Captain Celery said to his men before they were thrust out onto hostile territory. Lieutenant Ponce sat anxiously in the team's SA-4 Romero utility helicopter as they crossed the front line. She was nervous, but remembered her role in this mission. While Captain Celery took charge of the big decisions for the operation, Lieutenant Ponce would micromanage the team under him. She had already proven herself to Captain Celery with her recruitment of their team members. She couldn't ask for anyone better. Sergeant Otters, a 30-year war veteran, was the first to be brought on the team. Renowned for his unwavering mindset, he is famous across the rim for his triple-digit body count. It is rumored that his mustache is stained a deep dark red when Sigma blood is spilled. Private Deer and Private Sayo, top of their class recruits straight out of basic GigaChad training. They had a lot to prove, but their aggressive personalities showed potential to Lieutenant Ponce. These soldiers were tasked with protecting the outpost, as their civilian laborers focused on construction, crops, and mining. This was the team Lieutenant Ponce had. Captain Celery's leadership would make up for any of its shortcomings. He was the one who led GigaChad soldiers through impossible victories, saved countless lives, and was a scourge to the Sigmas. Lieutenant Ponce thought to herself, "We can do this." The SA-4 came in for a landing. Abandoned vehicles dotted a landscape sliced in half by a decrepit, unmaintained highway. The team deployed first, scouting the surrounding area, but found no targets. The dense jungle formed a tight noose around the open beach. The SA-4 dusted off once the last of the team deployed. The mission had commenced. Priority 1 for Captain Celery was establishing shelter and a defensive position. Upon seeing Captain Celery's body, Lieutenant Ponce was distraught. Any sense of success in this mission felt like it had vanished. Captain Celery was dead. Lieutenant Ponce now had command. Her anxiety skyrocketed as she had never been in a combat environment before. She knew that the conditions of this operation were tough. GC outposts on average lasted about 48 hours before Sigma forces overran them. Due to this, the GigaChad Central Command only reinforced outposts if they survived for more than 2 days. So, Lieutenant Ponce faced the prospect of having to hold out for 48 hours, with limited food, no medicine, and no reinforcements or support, against an enemy that already killed the team's captain. The situation was desperate. Sergeant Otter's pestering didn't help either. Everyone was shaken at the loss of Captain Celery. No one could fill his place, but someone had to. That someone was Lieutenant Ponce. She took a few breaths, collected herself, and got to work. Priority 1, shelter. Lieutenant Ponce ordered the team to move south, looking for a better place to set up camp. The area they were in was dangerous and was already teeming with hostiles. Ponce got her men together, buried Captain Celery, and moved out. Keeping the beach on their right shoulder, the team moved parallel to the highway. The jungle was dense. It felt like eyes were on them from every direction. After marching through miles of mud, dirt, and jungle, Ponce located a suitable spot to set up camp. The laborers cut down trees for building materials, while the riflemen secured the perimeter. In no time, wooden canopy shelters were complete. After being in horrible non-stop rainfall, having any kind of shelter was a blessing. The team, now colonists, slept at their new outpost. Ponce elected to take the first watch that night. The sun rose on a hot, humid day. Lieutenant Ponce began tackling their food dilemma. Sayo and Deer were sent out to hunt. Vigo, Raven, and Camino got to work planting crops. The team's survival meals were inventoried. They had 15 survival meals, not a whole lot. Sure enough, hunger began to set into the camp. Vigo had a mental break. Cracks were starting to show in the team. Of course, the civilian laborers would be the first to break. The team's military personnel just had to keep them in line until the situation stabilized. Deer and Sayo returned with food. Cassowary meat was on the menu for today. Donkey got to work cooking and immediately satiated the team's hunger, and the mood improved. Ponce had stabilized the colony. She decided that packaged survival meals would be forbidden for consumption unless in emergencies, and that they would survive off the land. The outpost crops looked healthy, some hope against the horrors of starvation. The team went to bed for the second night. Private Deer sounded the alarm in the early morning. A firefight was breaking out in the woods nearby. The riflemen moved out while the unarmed laborers continued to work. Sigma forces had chased down a team of GC riflemen and were mauling them up. 2 of them were already wounded. Ponce moved her men into position. Otters and Sayo laid down covering fire. Ponce and Deer moved in to guide the survivors out of danger. However, the Sigmas weren't as affected by Otter's fire and rained hell onto Ponce's team. 2 of the 3 riflemen were killed almost instantly, and Deer took a round in the leg. Ponce managed to carry Deer and guide the last survivor out of the combat zone. This caused the Sigmas to charge out of their positions in pursuit, and Otters cut them down, killing one of them and forcing the others to flee. The doc immediately got to work on Deer. The outpost didn't have any medicine, so an infection developing was a serious risk. Ponce spoke to the survivor, whose name was Corporal Teal. She explained how she was part of a 12-man outpost that just got wiped out by a Sigma hunter-killer team. Not good news. Teal explained that they'd most likely arrive at this outpost soon. Otters and Ponce discussed their situation and decided to dig trenches around the outpost for better defenses. Sure enough, however, Deer developed an infection. Ponce ordered Donkey to amputate the leg. Deer screamed and protested, but there wasn't anything anyone could do